What happens when a beloved actor sits down for what should be a simple morning chat, only to find himself under attack from a host who seems more interested in tearing him down than having a conversation? It only took one comment about his recent career choices for everything to spiral completely out of control. The studio lights were bright that morning, almost too bright. Ralph Little walked onto the set with a smile, waving to the small studio audience. He had done hundreds of these interviews before. Talk shows were supposed to be easy, friendly, promotional. A chance to chat about projects, share some laughs, maybe tell a funny story or two. He settled into the bright orange chair across from Lorraine Kelly, who was shuffling papers on her desk with an expression that should have been his first warning sign. Sitting next to Lorraine were two of her regular panelists. On her left was Christine, a lifestyle columnist known for her sharp opinions, and on her right was Marcus, a television critic who rarely held back his thoughts. Both of them watched as Ralph got comfortable, adjusting his jacket and accepting a glass of water from a production assistant who quickly disappeared off camera. "Welcome, welcome," Lorraine said, her voice carrying that signature cheerfulness that millions of viewers had come to know. But there was something else there, too. Something in her eyes that did not quite match the smile on her face. "So lovely to have you here, Ralph." "Thanks for having me," Ralph replied, genuine warmth in his voice. "Always a pleasure." "Is it, though?" Lorraine asked, and the question hung in the air for just a moment too long. Christine and Marcus exchanged glances. "I mean, you have been making some interesting choices lately, have you not?" Ralph laughed, assuming it was a joke. "Well, I like to think all my choices are interesting." "I was talking to someone just yesterday," Lorraine continued, leaning back in her chair with an air of casual superiority. "And they said they had not seen you in anything worthwhile in years. What would you say to that?" The smile on Ralph's face faltered slightly. The audience shifted uncomfortably. This was not how these interviews usually started. "I would say that is a matter of opinion," Ralph responded diplomatically. "I have been working on some projects I am really proud of." "Have you, though?" Lorraine pressed, and now her tone was unmistakably confrontational. "Because from where I am sitting, it looks like you have been taking any job that comes your way. Quantity over quality, as they say." Marcus cleared his throat. "Lorraine, that seems a bit harsh." "Does it?" Lorraine snapped, turning to Marcus with a look that could freeze water. "I am just asking the questions that everyone is thinking. That is what we do here, is it not? We have honest conversations." "Honest conversations are different from personal attacks," Ralph said calmly, though his jaw had tightened. "I came here to talk about my new project, not to defend my entire career." "Your new project," Lorraine said, picking up a piece of paper from her desk and holding it up as if it were evidence in a trial. "This little independent film that no one has heard of. Do you not think you are better than this? You used to be on primetime television." "Yeah, you used to matter." The audience gasped. Christine's mouth fell open. Even Marcus, who had seen plenty of contentious interviews, looked shocked. "Excuse me?" Ralph said, his voice quiet but firm. "I used to matter?" "Well, you know what I mean," Lorraine said with a dismissive wave of her hand. "You were relevant. You were someone people talked about. Now you are doing these little passion projects that nobody watches. It is sad, really." "What is sad," Ralph said, leaning forward, "is that you think the only work that matters is work that gets high ratings. Some of us actually care about the stories we're telling, not just how many people are watching." "Oh, here we go," Lorraine said, rolling her eyes dramatically. "The artistic integrity speech. How noble of you. How very noble. But let me ask you this. If nobody is watching, are you really making any impact at all?" Christine tried to intervene. "I think what Ralph is trying to say is that there is value in all kinds of storytelling." "I am not talking to you, Christine," Lorraine said sharply, not even looking at her panelist. "I am talking to him. And I want to know why he thinks he is too good for mainstream success anymore. Did you get too comfortable?" Did you stop trying? Ralph's hands gripped the arms of his chair. His voice remained steady, controlled. I did not stop trying. I started choosing. There is a difference. I choose projects that mean something to me, that challenge me as an actor. I'm sorry if that does not fit into your narrow definition of success. My narrow definition? Lorraine's voice rose. I have been in this industry for decades. I know what success looks like, and trust me, it does not look like what you are doing. You are coasting, Ralf. You are hiding behind these small productions because you are afraid to take real risks anymore. Real risks? Ralph's voice had an edge now. You are sitting behind a desk, reading from a script, asking questions that your producers wrote for you, and you are telling me about taking risks. That is rich. The studio went deadly quiet. Marcus's eyes went wide. Christine put a hand over her mouth. Even the camera operators seemed to freeze. Lorraine's face flushed red. How dare you? This is my show. My show. I have built this over years of hard work, of getting up at ungodly hours, of connecting with viewers. What have you built lately besides a list of projects nobody cares about? I have built a career that I can be proud of, Ralf said, his voice rising to match hers. I have built relationships with directors and writers who actually value what I bring to their work. I have built a life where I do not have to tear other people down to feel good about myself. You think that is what I am doing? Lorraine stood up from her desk, her chair rolling backward. I am doing my job. I am asking tough questions. If you cannot handle that, maybe you should stick to your little indie films where nobody challenges you. Tough questions? Ralf stood up too, facing her across the desk. You have not asked me a single question about my work. You have just insulted me for the last 5 minutes. That is not journalism, Lorraine. That is bullying. Bullying? Lorraine's laugh was harsh. You think this is bullying? This is a conversation. This is me treating you like an adult who can defend his choices instead of patting you on the head and telling you everything you do is wonderful. There is a middle ground, Ralf said, his frustration evident, between patting someone on the head and verbally attacking them. Most professional interviewers manage to find it. Most professional interviewers are boring, Lorraine shot back. They ask safe questions and get safe answers, and nobody remembers the interview 5 minutes after it ends. I am trying to give viewers something real. Something real? Ralph's voice was incredulous. This is not real. This is a performance. You are performing outrage because you think it makes good television. Marcus stood up, holding his hands out in a peacekeeping gesture. Okay. Let us all just take a breath here. This is getting out of hand. Stay out of this, Marcus, Lorraine said, her finger pointed at him like a weapon. This is between me and him. There should not be a this, Christine said, also standing now. This was supposed to be a friendly interview. What is happening right now? What is happening, Lorraine said, turning her fury on Christine, is that I am exposing someone who has been living off past glory for years. Someone who thinks he is too good for commercial success, but not too good to come on my show and promote his little movie. You invited me here, Ralf said, his voice sharp. Your people called my people. I did not beg to be on your show. And if this is how you treat your guests, I am starting to understand why some people turn you down. Some people? Lorraine laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. Name one person who has turned me down. One. You cannot, because this is one of the biggest morning shows in the country. People would kill to sit in that chair. Then maybe you should treat that chair with more respect, Ralf said. Maybe you should treat the people who sit in it with more respect. Because right now, you are not acting like a professional broadcaster. You are acting like someone who is threatened by anyone who does not need you. Threatened? Lorraine's voice was shrill now. Threatened by you? Do not flatter yourself. Your AI has been trying to stay relevant, and I am the one giving you a platform. You should be thanking me. Thanking you. Ralph's laugh was incredulous. For what? For ambushing me? For insulting my work? For making a spectacle out of what should have been a simple conversation? If you did not want a spectacle, you should have given me something worth talking about, Lorraine shot back. But you came here with nothing. Just another forgettable project that will disappear in a week. What did you expect me to do? Pretend it is amazing? Lie to my viewers? I expected you to be professional, Ralf said. I expected basic courtesy. I expected you to actually watch the film before you dismissed it. Did you even watch it, Lorraine? Or did you just decide it was not worth your time because it does not have a massive marketing budget? Lorraine's silence was answer enough. That is what I thought, Ralf said quietly. You have been attacking work you have not even seen. You have been judging me based on assumptions and prejudice, not on anything real. And you call that journalism? I call it honesty, Lorraine said, her voice cold. Something you clearly cannot handle. No, Ralf said, shaking his head. Honesty would be you admitting that you brought me here to make yourself look superior. Honesty would be you acknowledging that this whole thing was a setup from the start. You never wanted to have a conversation. You wanted a victim. A victim? Lorraine's eyes flashed. You are not a victim. You are a grown man who cannot take criticism. Criticism is constructive, Ralf said, his voice firm. Criticism says here is what worked, here is what did not. But here is how you could improve. What you did was just tear me down for the sake of tearing me down. Maybe you needed to be torn down, Lorraine said, and there was something almost vicious in her tone. Maybe you needed someone to tell you the truth instead of everyone around you protecting your ego. My ego? Ralf laughed without humor. You are the one who cannot handle being challenged. You are the one who loses it the moment someone pushes back. And you want to talk to me about ego? I am passionate about what I do, Lorraine said. I care about this show and about giving viewers honest content. Then be honest with yourself, Ralf said. Be honest about what you just did here. You did not give viewers honest content. You gave them a train wreck. You humiliated a guest for entertainment value. Get out, Lorraine said suddenly, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Get out of my studio. Gladly, Ralf said, already unhooking his microphone. I have wasted enough time here. You cannot just leave in the middle of a live broadcast, Christine said, looking between them in panic. Watch me, Ralf said, dropping his microphone on the chair. I am not going to sit here and be disrespected by someone who has forgotten what it means to have a real conversation. Real conversation? Lorraine was shouting now. You would not know a real conversation if it hit you in the face. You live in your bubble of artistic pretension, looking down on everyone who actually succeeds in this industry. I do not look down on success, Ralf said, his voice calm again, controlled. I look down on cruelty. I look down on people who use their platform to hurt others instead of to inform or entertain. I look down on bullies, Lorraine. And right now, that is exactly what you are being. How dare you call me a bully, Lorraine said, her face purple with rage. I have spent my entire career being kind to people, being welcoming, being warm. Then what happened today? Ralf asked. What changed? Why did you decide to throw all of that away just to score some cheap points against me? What did I ever do to you? You did not do anything, Lorraine said, and for just a moment, something vulnerable flickered across her face. That is the problem. You used to be somebody. You used to be exciting. And now you are just another actor who gave up. I did not give up, Ralf said softly. I grew up. I stopped chasing fame for its own sake. I started doing work that fulfills me. I am sorry if that disappoints you, but it is my life, not yours. And this is my show, Lorraine said, pointing to the floor. My show, and I want you off it. Now. I already told you I am leaving, Ralf said. You don't have to kick me out. I am going voluntarily, Because I have self-respect. Marcus stepped between them. Ralf, maybe just sit down and we can finish this calmly. There is no finishing this calmly, Ralf said, looking at Marcus with something like pity. She does not want calm. She wants conflict. She wants drama. Well, she got it. I hope it was worth it. Oh, it was worth it, Lorraine said, crossing her arms. Because now everyone is going to see you for what you really are. A bitter, washed-up actor who cannot handle criticism? Criticism? Ralf laughed, shaking his head. You still think that is what this was? Criticism is constructive. Criticism is specific. What you did was just mean. It was petty, and it was mean, and I genuinely feel sorry for you. Do not you dare feel sorry for me, Lorraine said, her voice dangerous. I do not need your pity. Clearly you need something, Ralf said, because happy, fulfilled people do not act like this. They do not tear others down for no reason. They do not ambush guests on live television just to feel powerful. I am powerful because I earned it, Lorraine said. Unlike you, in riding on the coattails of one successful show for the rest of your life. That one successful show, Ralf said, taught me something valuable. It taught me about respect, about treating your colleagues well, about being grateful for opportunities instead of using them as weapons. Maybe you should watch it sometime. You might learn something. Christine tried again. Can we please just all calm down and talk about this like adults? We are talking like adults, Ralf said, looking at her. Adults are allowed to stand up for themselves when they are being mistreated. Adults are allowed to walk away from toxic situations. And that is exactly what I am doing. You are running away, Lorraine said mockingly, just like you have been running away from real challenges for years. No, Ralf said, on picking up his jacket from the back of the chair. I am walking away from you. There is a difference. I have faced plenty of challenges in my career. I just choose not to waste my energy on people who are determined to misunderstand me. Misunderstand you? Lorraine laughed. I understand you perfectly. You are scared. You are scared that you are not as talented as you think you are. You are scared that without the right vehicle, you are nothing. So you hide behind these passion projects and pretend it is a choice. You know what scares me? Ralf said, turning back to face her one last time. What scares me is becoming so consumed by this industry that I forget how to be kind. What scares me is losing myself so completely that I have to hurt others to feel relevant. What scares me is ending up like you. The studio was silent. The camera operators did not move. The audience barely breathed. Christine had tears in her eyes. Marcus looked at the floor. Lorraine's face went white, then red, then white again. Get out, she whispered. Get out right now. I am going, Ralf said. But before I do, I want everyone watching to know something. I came here in good faith. I came here to share something I care about, something I worked hard on. I did not come here to be attacked. I did not come here to be insulted. And I do not think anyone, famous or not, should have to endure what just happened here. You are making yourself look like a fool, Lorraine said. Maybe, Ralf said, but at least I am being honest. Can you say the same? He turned and walked toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the silent studio. You will regret this, Lorraine called after him. You will regret walking out on me. Ralf stopped at the door and looked back. The only thing I regret is coming here in the first place. Goodbye, Lorraine. I hope you find whatever it is you are looking for. And with that, he was gone. The studio remained frozen for several long seconds. Lorraine stood at her desk, her chest heaving, her hands clenched into fists. Christine wiped her eyes. Marcus stared at the empty chair where Ralf had been sitting. Finally, Lorraine turned to the camera. Her professional mask slipped back into place, though it was cracked around the edges. Well, she said, her voice trembling slightly, that was certainly unexpected. Lorraine, Christine said softly, maybe we should take a break. We are not taking a break, Lorraine snapped. We are professionals. We continue. But her hands were shaking as she picked up her notes. Her voice was unsteady as she tried to transition to the next segment. The warmth that usually characterized her show was gone, replaced by something cold and brittle. Marcus leaned over to Christine and whispered, "That was brutal." "She went too far," Christine whispered back. "Way too far." "Do you think she planned it?" Marcus asked. "I do not know," Christine said, "but it does not matter now. The damage is done." Lorraine tried to push forward, reading from her autocue about the next guest, but her usual sparkle was missing. She stumbled over words. She lost her place. She kept glancing at the empty chair, as if expecting Ralf to reappear. But he did not reappear. The chair remained empty, a stark reminder of what had just transpired. Before Ralf had even reached the door, the weight of what had happened was already settling over the studio like a heavy fog. The audience members were whispering to each other, shocked expressions on their faces. Some looked angry. Others looked disappointed. A few looked like they wanted to leave themselves. "Should we cut to commercial?" A producer's voice crackled through Lorraine's earpiece. "No," Lorraine said quietly, but firmly. "We keep going." But keeping going was proving more difficult than she had anticipated. Her notes seemed to blur on the page. Her usual confidence had evaporated. Every word felt forced. Every smile felt fake. The energy in the studio had shifted completely. What had been warm and inviting now felt hostile and uncomfortable. Marcus tried to help. "Perhaps we should address what just happened," he suggested gently. "The viewers will want to know what we are thinking." "There is nothing to address," Lorraine said, but her voice lacked conviction. "A guest decided to be unprofessional and walk off. It happens in live television." "Does it, though?" Christine asked, finding her courage. "Because I have been doing this for 5 years, and I have never seen anything like that. I have never seen a guest walk off because they felt attacked." "Well, maybe you have not been paying attention," Lorraine said, the edge creeping back into her voice. "People walk off sets all the time when they cannot handle the heat." "That was not heat," Marcus said, shaking his head slowly. "That was something else entirely. That was personal." "What are you trying to say, Marcus?" Lorraine turned to him, her eyes flashing with renewed defensiveness. "Are you taking his side? Are you saying I was wrong?" "There are no sides," Marcus said carefully, choosing his words with precision. "But I think we need to be honest about what happened here. That interview went off the rails, and it went off the rails very quickly, from the very first question." "Because he could not handle a few pointed questions," Lorraine insisted, but even she did not sound convinced anymore. Her voice had lost its strength, its certainty. "Pointed questions?" Christine's voice rose slightly, her professional composure slipping. "Lorraine, you told him he did not matter anymore. You called his career sad. You said he was a has-been. Those were not questions at all. Those were attacks. Plain and simple." "I was being honest," Lorraine said, but her hands were trembling now, betraying the calm facade she was trying to maintain. Someone needed to say it. Someone needed to tell him the truth. "Did they?" Marcus asked, his tone gentle but insistent. Did someone really need to tell a guest on live television in front of millions of viewers that they are irrelevant? What purpose did that serve? Who benefited from that? "It served the purpose of truth," Lorraine said, but the words sounded hollow, empty. "I am not going to sit here and blow smoke up people's backsides just because they have done me the great honor of appearing on my show. I have more respect for my viewers than that." "No one is asking you to blow smoke," Christine said, leaning forward earnestly. "But there is a massive difference between being honest and being cruel, between being direct and being hurtful. And what you did today crossed that line. It crossed it by a mile." "How dare you?" Lorraine said, standing up again, her chair scraping against the floor. "How dare you question me on my own show? I have been doing this longer than both of you combined." "And that is exactly why this is so shocking," Marcus said quietly, but firmly. "Because you know better. You have always known better. You have built your entire brand on being warm and welcoming. So, what happened today? What changed?" Lorraine looked around the studio, seeing the judgment in every face. The audience members who were no longer smiling at her, who had pulled back in their seats as if physically distancing themselves from what they had witnessed. The crew members who were avoiding eye contact, suddenly very interested in their equipment. The panelists who were speaking up instead of staying silent, instead of letting her authority go unchallenged. For the first time in a very long time, Lorraine Kelly felt truly alone. "You do not understand," she said, and her voice was smaller now, almost childlike. "You do not understand the pressure, the constant need to be interesting, to be relevant, to keep people watching, to not be boring." "We all feel that pressure," Christine said, her voice softening slightly, but still firm. "Every single person in this industry feels it, but we do not all take it out on our guests. We do not all tear people down to build ourselves up." "He was being smug," Lorraine said, grasping for justification, for something that would make sense of her behavior. "He was sitting there acting like he was better than everyone else, like he was above it all." "He was not," Marcus said firmly, shaking his head. "He was being polite. He was being gracious. He was answering your questions with respect and thoughtfulness. He was being exactly what a guest should be until you started attacking him. Until you made it personal." "I did not attack him," Lorraine protested weakly, but the words sounded unconvincing, even to her own ears. "You did," Christine said, and there was sadness in her voice now. Disappointment. "And now he is gone, and we are left here trying to make sense of what just happened. Trying to explain to viewers why one of their favorite shows just became a spectacle of cruelty." Lorraine sank back into her chair. The fight seemed to drain out of her all at once, like air from a punctured balloon. She looked at the empty chair across from her, the chair where Ralf had been sitting just moments ago, and something cracked in her carefully constructed expression. "I thought," she began, then stopped, struggling to find the words. "I thought it would be good television. I thought people would appreciate the honesty, the realness of it." "Good television does not come at the expense of human dignity," Marcus said, and his voice carried the weight of years of experience. "You taught me that, remember? Years ago, when I first started on this show, you told me that our job was to make people feel comfortable, to bring out the best in them, to let them shine. What happened to that philosophy? What happened to that version of you?" Lorraine did not answer. She could not answer, because the truth was, she did not know. Somewhere along the way, between the ratings wars and the social media pressure and the constant exhausting fight to stay relevant in an ever-changing media landscape, she had forgotten her own advice. She had forgotten the principles that had guided her for so many years. She had forgotten why she started doing this in the first place. The empty chair remained, a monument to a moment, a symbol of a choice, a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply walk away and let your absence speak louder than any words ever could. And in that silence, in that empty space where a guest should have been, the truth became impossible to ignore. Power without kindness is just cruelty. Success without compassion is just emptiness. And a platform without respect is just noise.